Welcome to Hacking Your Leadership. I'm Chris, and welcome to another Thoughtful Thursdays episode. Thanks again to all our listeners for tuning in twice a week and for spreading the word about hacking your leadership. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and leave us a review on whichever podcasting platform you use. All right, for this week's episode, I want to talk a little bit about pay. It's no secret, different people doing the same job still make different salaries. Regardless of age, gender, tenure, it's just a fact of life. You could take two people doing the same job, with the same gender, same age, roughly the same experience and education. There's still a good chance one of them makes more than the other. And there's some very real reasons for this. For one, companies typically pay more when recruiting someone from the outside than they would pay to fill the role internally. Another reason is self-advocacy. If an employee consistently does a good job and they ask for a raise, they may very well get it, and this advantages them over an employee who never asks. If you're a leader, have you ever had an employee say something like this to you? So I'm not going to tell you how I learned this, but I know I'm one of the lowest paid people doing this job, even though I've been here a long time, and you've told me repeatedly I do a good job. And that's rubbing me the wrong way. I know it didn't feel like I was making too little yesterday because I didn't know how much other people were making, but now I do know and I can't get it out of my mind. When I was young, I used to think I could lose my job for discussing pay with my coworkers. Obviously, this isn't true. It wasn't true back then. The National Labor Relations Act and several state and local laws say I was absolutely allowed to have these conversations. Looking back, I honestly can't figure out why I believe differently. I guess it just seems like something we shouldn't be doing. If I'd gotten into a pay comparison with a friend at work who did the same job, I'm not sure what would make me feel worse, finding out I made less for doing that job, or finding out my friend made less for doing that job, and knowing he or she would probably feel some resentment. Over the last few years, the internet's provided resources for figuring out where we stack up compared to our coworkers, so even though awkward pay comparisons don't happen as often, the end result of this public knowledge and the resentment still happens once the information's out there. If you're a leader, there's a strong chance you don't even know the individual salaries of each of your employees. Most of the leaders I've spoken with over the years have access to the information, but none said they could recite it off the top of their heads, and many would have been surprised to learn that there were huge gaps between employees' pay who were doing the same job. Unless you're the owner of a business and your labor costs are really at the front of your mind all the time, it's a safe bet that while you may have been involved in the conversations on what to pay each person when they were hired, you didn't make that decision in the context of what other team members were being paid. More than likely, the decision was made based on what the applicant was asking for, the pay scale for the position, the minimum wage, and potentially what other coworkers were making. This means the knee-jerk reaction of most employees to take it personally when they find out they're being paid less is typically misguided, but those feelings are understandable and they can't be helped. So if you're a leader and you feel that lump in the pit of your stomach when an employee asks you for more money, that lump that says, this employee's fantastic and I don't want to lose them or watch them shut down, but I'm limited to what I can do when it comes to salary, there are a few things you should keep in mind. First, and this is really daily prep work, stop calling the 1 to 5% annual increases that are tied to appraisals as merit increases. These raises were designed to account for cost of living increases, and even an employee earning $100,000 a year will only see an increase of about $100 a paycheck when getting this raise. Many leaders want to make their employees feel good about telling them they're getting a raise for doing a good job, but a 3% annual raise for performance devalues the employee's efforts and doesn't help your position as the leader when you respond to the employee with, "You just got a raise 2 months ago when we did your appraisal." Label them what they are and be honest about the company's actual policies on unscheduled merit increases. Second, never lie or speculate or make promises you aren't sure of your ability to fulfill. Many leaders in these uncomfortable conversations have a tendency to want to validate the employee's concerns, come off looking like a friend, and tell them they're right and it will be addressed. Unless you know you have the power to give unscheduled merit increases at your discretion, this will only end in the employee losing faith and trust in you. Third, never be afraid to ask the employee if you can continue the conversation at a later time so you can do a little research and get all your ducks in a row before answering the question. But make sure the employee has an actual date and time for that conversation to continue, and don't forget to do that prep work so you're prepared to have that conversation when it's time. And it shouldn't be a month in the future. This is information you should be able to get in a few days. Fourth, when having the actual conversation with the employee, never talk about money in the context of that employee's coworkers or what the coworkers make. Quite honestly, it's none of their business what their coworkers make, even if that information was shared with them voluntarily. The decision to give or not give a raise should be based on the work being done, the performance of the employee, and the fulfillment of whatever plan the two of you create together. When the decision to give more money is rooted in these things, it keeps the decision individualized, and it allows you to have similar conversations with other employees. When the raise is rooted in a simple comparison to other people, it allows poor performers to make the same request, and it leaves you no logical reason to turn them down once it's been established that they do in fact make less than others. Fifth, never give away your authority to lead by telling the employee you wanted to give them more money, but were told by somebody else or some policy that you couldn't. Your desire to remain friends with that employee will only serve to teach them that you have no authority here, and the future conversation should be had with your boss instead of you. Sixth, always know who your employees are and what drives them. Money is important, but there should be other things differentiating this job and keeping the employees engaged. Studies have shown that the difference between $40,000 a year and $50,000 a year, 25%, is enormous. But the difference between $75,000 a year and $94,000 a year, also 25%, means much less to the employee compared to actually enjoying their job and feeling connected to the mission of the organization. The higher you go on the pay scale, the less it means to employees to get a raise. Many times, a desire for more money means the employee just isn't really feeling connected to the company or the role anymore, and they believe money will solve the problem. It won't. The novelty will wear off. You'll end up with a disengaged employee who is now making more money. The important work here comes in the form of figuring out how to re-engage the employee, if that's even possible, or helping them exit the role gracefully if they just aren't passionate about it. Conversations about pay can absolutely be stressful, but when you set the stage correctly by doing the daily leadership work of grounding your decisions in values, being honest and consistent with your people, and giving answers to questions in a thoughtful manner that calls out their performance rather than the dollar amount, you can eliminate the dread, maintain great relationships with your people, and most importantly, raise engagement instead of hurting it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on Monday.